What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one, I go over some final updates here ahead of Michigan's season opener against New Mexico, including some injury updates on some players. We also go over the projected depth chart and starters here defensively and offensively for the Wolverines, which players could get playing time in the season opener, and we also go over some keys to the game for Michigan against New Mexico and what exactly we hope to see in the season opener. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so we are 1 day away. We get to watch Team 146 Michigan football tomorrow in the season opener against New Mexico, 7:30 p.m. on NBC. And we did give a little preview already in yesterday's video. If you guys missed it, make sure to go ahead and check that out. We go over basically, everything you need to know about this week 1 matchup for the Wolverines and what to expect with a New Mexico team who had a massive turnover in, players and has a lot of new additions. But ahead of the season opener, I did want to go over some injury updates here for some Wolverines players. We'll first start with tight end Hogan Hansen, as he has been dealing with an injury. He still has been going through fall camp and participating in everything. According to Chris Balas of the Wolverine, he said they don't expect Hogan Hansen to play in the opener, but there does remain hope he'll return next week for the Oklahoma game. Now, obviously, Michigan does have Marlon Klein, who is going to be Michigan's starting tight end this season, but Hogan Hansen, a true freshman last season who shined in moments, and it seems like he could be the backup tight end for the Wolverines this season if he can get healthy. So we just wanted to mention that. And then as far as safety, Rod Moore, there continues to be great progress right there, but again, don't expect him to play this Saturday either. But Oklahoma is a real possibility because he's made some great strides the last few weeks of fall camp. So, I don't know if Rod Moore will return for that Oklahoma game. If he does, though, it would be really huge for the defense. I don't know how much he would play in that game. He may even be put on a certain play count, just to get the feel and everything, not play him too much in that game. But either way, still having him back out there will be huge for this defense. But Michigan's safety room is pretty stacked, and we're going to get to that in a little bit here. We're going to be going over the depth chart for the Wolverines here ahead of the season opener. I did want to talk about the Clemson transfer Trey Williams on the defensive line and in the inside. According to Chris Balas of the Wolverine, he has been slowed, so will be working his way back into game shape, and if he plays, probably only be 2 at a time until he can do that. And meanwhile, junior Trey Pierce has emerged as a player in the inside, and has gotten more snaps as well. We've talked about him a lot recently, being a guy who has taken the next step in his game this camp. So that's some updates right there. We did go over some special teams updates as well in yesterday's video. Again, if you guys missed that video, Hudson Hollenbeck will obviously be the punter, and also Beckham Sunderland will be the kickoff specialist here this season for the Wolverines. Obviously, Dominic Zavada will be handling the field goals. And let's go ahead to the depth chart here for the Wolverines, which should be the projected depth chart here. It isn't the final depth chart and finalized starters, but the projected starters and also backups here potentially here in the season opener for the Wolverines. First, on the defensive line in the inside, you got Rashawn Benny, Trey Williams, and then Trey Pierce, who we just talked about. And then the backups, you also got Damon Payne, Enau Etta, Ike Iwana. Those are the 6 main guys in the interior this upcoming season for the Wolverines. And there's also, other players behind them that could see playing time if it is a blowout in late in the game. As far as the edge, you got Derek Moore, TJ Guy, obviously as the 2 starters, and the backups, Cameron Brandt, Dominic Nichols. May get to see Lugard Edope and Devin Baxter, maybe even the freshman Nate Marshall if it's a blowout. And then at linebacker, obviously Ernest Hausman, Deshaun Barham, Jimmy Roller, and Cole Sullivan as the backups, although those 2 guys will definitely be getting a lot of playing time this season. They are basically 2 backup starters for the Wolverines, and maybe we'll get to see some freshmen like Nathaniel Wusu-Boateng, Chase Taylor. Then at cornerback, Jair Hill, Zeke Berry as the starters, obviously. Backups, Josiah Edmonds, Shamari Earls, both of them have been competing for that cornerback 3 spot. And you got Caleb Anderson in there, Jeremiah Lowe, Tevis Metcalf, freshmen Elijah Dotson, and Jaden Sanders. And at safety, you got Brandon Hillman, Jaden Mangham, who potentially could be the starters. TJ Metcalf potentially at nickelback as well. Either that or Mason Curtis. That one I could see a little bit of a mix. Could be Brandon Hillman, TJ Metcalf, and Mason Curtis, or Brandon Hillman, Jaden Mangham, and TJ Metcalf at nickelback. But nonetheless, Mason Curtis will definitely be getting some playing time. So that is the defensive side. As far as the offensive side, obviously at quarterback, starter Bryce Underwood, backup Jaden Davis. Definitely can't wait to see the true freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood make his first start in an electric environment in the big house. Then at running back, starter, I'm going with Justice Haynes. I know some of you guys have been saying Jordan Marshall. I like Justice Haynes right now, but we'll, have to see. And then backup, obviously, Jordan Marshall, but both of them are starters. They're both going to be getting the carries. And then obviously we could see Jasper Parker, Micah Kapana, Brayson Cusdale in there at running back 3. And then wide receiver, the starters should be Donovan McCulley, Samaj Morgan, and Channing Goodwin, as Channing Goodwin has solidified himself lately as that third wide receiver for the Wolverines, with Frederick Moore, Andrew Marsh, Kendrick Bell also in the mix. May even get to see Anthony Simpson, the UMass transfer. And at tight end, you got Marlon Klein, obviously. Max Bredesen as the H-back, and we could see as the backups, Zach Marshall and Jalen Hoffman. Hogan Hanson obviously dealing with an injury. Could see Deacon Tonielli in there. And on the offensive line, you got from left to right, Evan Link, Giovanni Ohadi, Greg Crippen, Brady Norton, and Andrew Sprague. Then as the backups, you got Nathan Afobe, Blake Frazier, Jake Garnera, Lawrence Tatar, Ty Haywood, the freshman, could get some playing time as well. And watching that offensive line this season opener is going to be key here for the Wolverines to see how they play. It all starts up front and in the trenches, so definitely need that group to be much better this season. And they've definitely taken it upon themselves to live up to that Michigan standard this offseason. And then some final keys to the game here for the Wolverines going up against the New Mexico Lobos. First one, you gotta watch out for the trick plays going up against New Mexico. We talked about it in yesterday's video how Jason Eck, the head coach now at New Mexico, was the head coach last year at Idaho, and when they played Oregon, they had a lot of trick plays up their sleeve. They kept that a close game with Oregon too, so definitely got to watch out for the trick plays. Sherrod Moore has already mentioned it though, so got to be smart defensively, obviously. But this defensive line for Michigan should definitely eat, and when in doubt, I think you got to put a lot of pressure on this quarterback and on Jack Lane, the Idaho transfer. I do think Michigan will have 5+ sacks in this game, forces a turnover eventually, maybe even more, and should set the Michigan offense up with some good field position, I think, at times. And as far as the offense, obviously, gotta limit the turnovers. Don't shoot yourself in the foot and give them good field position. Obviously, get Bryce Underwood comfortable in the game. And you also gotta see some explosive plays in this season opener. That is exactly what Michigan fans need to see on display. After watching last season's offense, that's exactly what they need, is explosive plays. It's what they were lacking all season long. And obviously Sherrod Moore's DNA is smash. So when in doubt, wear New Mexico down in the trenches, both sides of the ball, especially early in the game. Don't want to mess around, so just go out there right away, play some bully ball, and get an early lead. So let me know what you guys' keys to the game are and what your guys' predictions are. Still got Michigan winning 45-7, and who knows, maybe one of those touchdowns is a defensive touchdown. But with that, that's gonna wrap up this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. And on that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.